In 1977, researchers were trying to understand why sleep exists.
Not how it works, not how to treat insomnia. Why? What does sleep actually do to the body that makes it so essential?
To find out, they tried something unusual. They took blood from the veins leaving the brains of sleeping rabbits, specifically the veins coming directly out of the brain, and injected it into rabbits that were wide awake. The awake rabbits fell into a deep, slow wave sleep almost immediately. Something in the blood of sleeping animals was triggering deep sleep in animals that weren't sleeping. After years of isolating and testing, they found it. A tiny peptide, 9 amino acids long, that appeared to be one of the signals your brain uses to initiate the deepest, most restorative stage of sleep. They named it Delta Sleep-Inducing Peptide, DSIP. Your brain makes it, you've been making it your entire life. And here's the part most people covering this peptide completely miss. What DSIP actually does goes far beyond sleep. I'm Sean. This is PeptideAtoZ. Let's talk about the peptide your brain uses to repair everything. Here's what we're covering. What deep sleep actually does to your body, because most people dramatically underestimate it. What DSIP is and how it works. The benefits the research has documented beyond sleep. The surprising reframe that the scientists who study it most closely now use to describe what it really is. And the honest picture on the evidence, because there are real gaps worth knowing about. Let's start with sleep itself. Before we talk about DSIP, we need to talk about what it's protecting, because most people think of sleep as rest, the body shutting down, doing nothing, waiting for morning. That's almost the opposite of what's happening. Deep sleep, the slow wave stage, the deepest part of your sleep cycle is when your body does the most important work it does all day. This is when your brain flushes out waste products that accumulate while you're awake, including the proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. Your brain has a cleaning system that runs almost exclusively during deep sleep. Cut deep sleep short and the cleaning doesn't finish. This is when your body releases the majority of its daily growth hormone, not during your workout, during deep sleep. That growth hormone is what drives tissue repair, muscle recovery, and cellular maintenance overnight. This is when your immune system consolidates its work, producing and deploying the cells and proteins that protect you from infection and inflammation. This is when memories move from short-term to long-term storage. The events of your day get filed during deep sleep. Deep sleep isn't rest. It's the most productive 8 hours of your biology's day, and the quality and duration of your deep sleep declines with age. By the time most people reach their 50s, they're getting significantly less slow-wave deep sleep than they were in their 20s, even if total sleep time stays the same. Before we go further, 2 ways to go deeper on everything we cover here. First, grab the free Beginner's Guide to Peptide Science. It's the foundation for all of it. Link in the description. And if you're ready to go all in, the PeptideAtoZ community gives you the complete field guide, unlimited AI peptide coach, community Q&A, and live sessions, everything in one place. Both links are in the description. Let's get back to it. DSIP is one of the signals your brain uses to get you there. And here's what makes DSIP genuinely unusual compared to every other sleep compound most people know about, because it doesn't work the way melatonin or any sleep aid you've ever heard of works. DSIP is a naturally occurring brain peptide, 9 amino acids long, produced primarily in the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the part of your brain that controls your biological clock, your hormone cycles, your temperature, and your sleep-wake rhythm. DSIP comes from the center of your brain's control system. It crosses the blood-brain barrier easily, meaning it can travel between the blood and the brain in both directions, which is unusual and important for how it reaches its targets. Now here's what makes DSIP genuinely different from anything most people have taken for sleep. DSIP has an incredibly short time in the bloodstream. It breaks down quickly after it's released, but its effects last hours to days after a single release. That shouldn't be possible based on how most compounds work. Usually when a molecule leaves the body, the effect leaves with it. With DSIP, something different is happening. Researchers believe it acts as a trigger, setting off a chain of changes in how your brain systems are tuned. Changes to how your brain responds to different signals. Changes to hormone release patterns. Changes that outlast the peptide itself. Think of it like turning a dial rather than flipping a switch. DSIP appears to adjust the settings on multiple brain systems simultaneously, and those adjusted settings hold for a period of time after the peptide is gone. It affects the GABA system, the brain's primary calming system. It affects stress hormone levels. It affects the signals that control growth hormone release during sleep. And it does all of this without being a sedative. This is not melatonin. This is not a sleeping pill. It doesn't knock you out. It appears to work with your brain's own sleep architecture, nudging the conditions that make deep sleep more likely to happen and more complete when it does. And that leads to the reframe that researchers who study DSIP most closely now use, because they believe the name has actually been misleading people about what this peptide really does. Here's the reframe. Many researchers now believe that calling DSIP a sleep peptide misses the bigger story. A more accurate description is stress protective peptide, or brain balancing peptide, with sleep being one important piece of what it does. On stress, DSIP has been shown in animal research to reduce the release of stress hormones, specifically the hormones your body produces when under physical or psychological stress.
When animals under stress were given DSIP, their stress hormone levels came down and their stress-induced symptoms reduced. Sleep and stress are deeply connected.
Chronic stress is one of the primary destroyers of deep sleep. A peptide that both supports deep sleep and reduces stress hormone output is working on both sides of one of the most damaging cycles in human health. On pain, some research suggests DSIP may influence pain processing in the brain. The connection to sleep makes sense. Chronic pain destroys sleep quality, and poor sleep amplifies pain sensitivity. Whether DSIP's effects on pain are direct or come through improving sleep quality is still being worked out. On brain protection, one study specifically examined DSIP's effects on brain cell survival under stress conditions. The finding, DSIP appeared to reduce cell death in neurons exposed to stress. This is early research, one study, not a clinical trial. On hormones, DSIP appears to influence the patterns of growth hormone release, not by directly raising levels, but by improving the conditions under which your brain naturally releases it during sleep.
Since deep sleep is when growth hormone peaks, a peptide that improves deep sleep architecture may indirectly support the growth hormone pulse that drives overnight repair.
This is why researchers who work with DSIP keep coming back to it. It's not doing one thing. It appears to be working on the broader system that governs how well your brain recovers. Now the honest picture. Because the evidence for DSIP has some genuine gaps that matter, and the regulatory status just changed in a way worth knowing about. The animal research is consistent and goes back nearly 50 years. Rats, cats, rabbits, mice, DSIP reliably increases slow-wave deep sleep in animal models. The human research is where it gets more complicated. Some early human studies showed positive effects on sleep, but the results weren't as consistent as the animal data. Some studies showed meaningful improvement, others showed modest or unclear effects. The mechanism, exactly how DSIP produces its effects, is still not fully understood even today. We know what it does in broad terms. We don't have a complete picture of exactly which receptors it binds or precisely which pathways it activates. That's unusual for a peptide that's been studied for nearly 50 years. Human safety data is limited. DSIP is generally reported to be well tolerated, but the long-term human safety picture hasn't been built like it has for FDA-approved compounds. Quick pause, free beginner's guide to peptide science in the description, both links below. The regulatory update, DSIP, under its compounding name imetiltide, was one of 12 peptides the FDA removed from its restricted Category 2 list in April 2026, and it was one of 7 peptides formally reviewed by the FDA's Advisory Committee on July 23rd and 24, 2026, alongside BPC 157, Cmax, Epitalon, KPV, TB500, and MOTSC. That review means DSIP is now being formally evaluated for legal access through licensed compounding pharmacies under physician prescription. The outcome of that process will determine whether American patients and physicians can access it legally through a licensed pharmacy rather than gray market sources. We'll follow that process as it develops. In 1977, scientists discovered that sleeping blood makes awake animals sleep deeply. The molecule responsible turned out to be something your own brain produces every night, a 9-amino-acid peptide working quietly in the background. Deep sleep is when your brain cleans itself, when your body releases growth hormone, when your immune system does its most important work. When the day's memories get filed, DSIP appears to be one of the signals that gets you there. But it's more than a sleep peptide. The researchers who know it best now call it a stress-protective brain peptide, with 50 years of animal research behind it and a regulatory process now formally underway. The mechanism isn't fully understood. The human evidence has gaps. Both things are true, and both are worth knowing. Subscribe. We cover every major development in this space as it happens. This is PeptideAtoZ. Research, education, longevity. See you in the next one. One last thing. Everything on this channel is for educational purposes only. We're here to break down the science, not to tell you what to do with your body. Nothing in this video is medical advice, and nothing here should be taken as a recommendation to use any specific compound or substance. Always talk to a qualified healthcare professional before making any decisions about your health. We take that seriously, and we think you should too.